Mission critical. During the voyage from Venice back to Neptune's Revenge, Umiko filled Quill in on the rest of her research, theories, and ongoing pursuit of Necro over the years. Quill, mindful of his last unexpected encounter with Nautilus, navigated towards Neptune's Revenge in a circuitous manner, dimming the lights and reducing the ship's speed as they drew closer to where they had last sighted Abzu's vessel. Thankfully, there was no sign of Nautilus. Umiko had just finished filling Quill in about Necro's activities in New Zealand when the depth charger's radar pinged, and Quill's eyes flicked upwards through the ship's bow window. Still some way off, a string of lights was slowly moving towards the depth charger just above their location, the faint light illuminating a silver trident on the side of the vessel. "That's odd," muttered Quill. "Abzu was almost always found near the bottom of the ocean, and I thought we still had a way to go before we'd have to dive. I didn't think he'd be on the move yet." As they watched, the grey hulk slowed, drifted, and then seemed to hang in the ocean as if it had spotted them and was waiting. Quill deftly manoeuvred the depth charger until it was adjacent to the larger ship and secured it to the bigger ship's airlock. Before Quill could open the door, it was flung open, and a young man with tousled dark hair and wild eyes stared back at him. "Jevon!" exclaimed Quill. "Where's Ambra? Is she okay?" "Ambra is with your mother in Venice," said Quill, glancing at Umiko, who nodded. Technically, it had been the truth when he and Umiko had left, and though Quill knew Ambra was on her way to Svalbard, he couldn't afford to have Jevon distracted right now and wanting to leave the ship when locating Nadir was the urgent priority. "They are safe," Quill continued. "I've given your mother the backup copy of her team's work, and she is rearranging her press conference." Jevon breathed a sigh of relief. "How did you get out of the game? And where is Abzu?" asked Quill. Jevon's face broke into a grin. "I'm not exactly sure how I got out, but now Abzu is in his own game." "Ha! Well done, lad," chuckled Quill, as he crossed the threshold into Neptune's Revenge, followed by Umiko. "This is Umiko, a field agent of the TIA, the True Illusion Agency." Quill gestured at Umiko, who extended her hand to Jevon. "Hello, Jevon," said Umiko as the two shook hands. "I've been in pursuit of Necro, heir to the Nautilus throne, for years. There's been an urgent development. We're here because we need the information Lord Abzu has been gathering from our director concerning mapping tectonic activity occurring on the ocean floor." Jevon in the lead, the three made their way to the navigation room, their footsteps echoing off the grey corridor walls. Okay, so where would Abzu keep that stuff?" muttered Jevon, as he began rummaging across bench tops and through various drawers. Umiko joined him in the search. Quill saw Abzu in the next room, hooked up to the game machinery. His facial muscles were twitching, but the rest of his body was still. "Did you manage to beat the game?" inquired Quill. Jevon looked up and followed Quill's gaze. "No. I mean, well, to be honest, I don't know. I didn't beat the game, but I got out. It was weird. I was in the game and it was like there was some interference which jolted me out of it. Once I realised it was a game, while I was in the game, I tell you what, I felt pretty sick the first few minutes after," said Jevon. "Should I disconnect him?" asked Umiko, who had gone over to inspect the apparatus to which Abzu was hooked up. "No," Quill answered. "I don't know enough about this system to say what happens if someone is yanked out of it, as distinct from waking up out of it. In any case, locating Nadir is likely to be an easier task without Lord Abzu awake and interfering, provided we can find and make sense of his surveys." "What's Nadir?" asked Jevon. "Ah, yes, a lot has happened while you've been stuck in Lord Abzu's game," said Quill. "Our friend Necro is not only out to cause trouble by ensuring vested interests misrepresent your mother's research, he's been in the process of building some kind of sea floor apparatus that can trigger earthquakes and subsequent tsunamis." Jevon's eyes widened. "You gotta be joking," he gulped. "I've been tracking his movements for some time," said Umiko. "Based on intelligence gathered, we know that it is his intent, We know he's been building something, but he's not yet able to unleash the full power of Nadir, as he calls it, without a super powerful source of energy, one that he can't obtain on Earth. So he's built this weapon, but can't activate it. Not yet, but we know he is in pursuit of the means to. That's another story and a much vaguer lead. Right now we need to find this device he has built and disable or destroy it, said Emiko. Okay, here, said Quill, who had been rifling through a pile of maps that looked similar to topographical maps of Earth. See this? Quill pointed to a cluster of markings located along a deep fissure in the sea floor. This is where Abzu has noted tectonic activity, right where the plates meet. This is part of the Ring of Fire, which runs most of the way around the east coast of Asia and the west coast of the Americas. But it may not be Mother Nature doing all of the moving and shaking this time, finished Emiko. That's about 3 hours from here in this Leviathan, but only 1 hour from here in the depth charger, calculated Quill. He drummed his fingers on the map, thinking. But we may need the far nimbler submersibles on Neptune's Revenge to get close to whatever Necro has built and disable it. What's the point in disabling it? He's built it once, he can do it again, said Jevon. But he's too close to being able to activate it, and we now know he is hot on the trail of the final piece which will allow him to do so, countered Emiko. Assuming it exists, finding and disabling Nadir will buy us time, and now we've got a much clearer idea of where to search for Necro. Quill went to the navigation dashboard and, punching various buttons, plotted a new course. Neptune's Revenge shuddered, gave a gentle groan, and headed toward the cluster of markings on Lord Abzu's map, at the bottom of the North Pacific.